Assalamu alaikum. This video is about how to use Zotero when taking notes for your homeworks and for your research. I'll only address the problem of cataloging, annotating, and referencing Islamic books that do not have an ISBN and how Zotero makes your workflow around that really easy. I will not go over information such as installing Zotero, as you can find that online. To begin, step 1, you would have to add the PDFs to Zotero. How do you do this? You can simply drag drop the PDFs from your file location into Zotero here, or you could click the add file option here, which will then open up a dialog box for you to select the file. Alternatively, if your files are stored in Google Drive or OneDrive, and if you simply want to link to those files, then you would use the add link to file option. Once you have done so, you'll find that your files are present inside Zotero as you see over here. Step 3. Now you need to create a book item for each one of these PDFs. Now you only need to do this once for any book. So to do so, click New Item and then Book. And this will create a new book item as you see here. The next step after that is to drag the PDF that you want onto the book item. So for example, this book by Razi, I'm going to drag it onto this book item here. And this will then associate the PDF with that book. Step 3. Now fill in the details for the book here. Fill in the metadata. In this case, for example, I will type in the name of the book, and then I will continue to do so by putting in the full name, the volume number, the number of volumes, the publisher, any other information that you want to put in. Keep in mind that you only have to do this once. And once you have completed this, the PDF will now be ready for referencing. For example, in my case here now, I have filled in the title, the author, volume, number, and I could even put in the publisher, which I haven't done that at this point in time. Now that I have the PDF ready, I can use it for referencing. How exactly do I do that? Let's go and take a look at some other files for this. Here are some of the files that I was using for one of my homeworks. As you can see, I have created the book items for each one of these PDFs, and all of them contain the names, author, publisher, etc. Every one of them does so. And so, once you have done this for the first time, you will not have to do this once again. You only need to do it once. Now, at this point in time, you may have a question. Do I have to create these book items for every single PDF that I have in my collection? Well, the answer is, it depends. First of all, you only have to do this on an as-needed basis and not in one sitting. However, even if that is the case, it may still take a while for you to do so if you have a lot of PDFs. So there is a way to avoid this by using a shared library, but inshallah I'll address that in a separate video. Step 4. Zotero has an inbuilt PDF viewer which has decent tools for annotating a PDF. For example, I'll open up this PDF over here. As you can see, I have already annotated this file on the left-hand side, and I'll show you how you can do so. Say I want to annotate on this particular topic right here. There are different ways that you can edit the PDF file, that you can annotate the PDF file. You could, for example, use a sticky note as is typical in a PDF viewer. And you can add in your comments over here in this manner. You could also write text directly into the PDF file. And you can resize it as you please. You can also take a screenshot and you can write your annotations associated with it. So for example, I'll select this over here. I can write in my annotations in over there. So as you can see, this is how I have taken a lot of different notes over here for all of my annotations for my homework. Now that I have done this for one of my books, I can go back and I can do something similar with another book also. I would open up that file, and once again, I can use a sticky note, I can write my text, or I can do anything else. In this case, I'm just going to take a screenshot. And in here, type in my comments. So these are the different ways that you can annotate a PDF file. I have stored my annotations in here. And the good thing is that if you were to log into Zotero on any other computer, it will download all the annotations along with your PDF. So they're not lost, they're not restricted to a single computer or a single device. Now that we have seen how to annotate the PDF, how do we go about collecting all of these thoughts together that we have written down into a single file? To do so, I first click on the context pane button here in the top right corner. And then inside that, you'll click Note. And so this will show you all the notes that I have taken over here. And then I would click the plus sign and then add a standalone note. I can add my own text in over here. And then following that, the important feature that we have here is that I can copy all of these annotations into my notes simply by right-clicking on them and clicking Add to Note. And so this adds my notes, just copies and pastes them. And notice that I have the reference attached in over here for each of these annotations that I had. Now that I have done this for this file, I will go in and do the same thing for my second file. Once again, select them, right-click, Add to Note, and we can copy them in here. So these are the individual actions that you can carry out inside Zotero. That is, you can annotate a PDF using the different tools that we just saw. You can copy the annotations into a note, and then you can also take further notes you can write further into that note. Now, the order in which you perform these actions is completely up to you, and it depends upon your workflow. So perhaps you might be the person who likes to first annotate all of their PDFs, and then at the end you like to copy all the annotations into a note. Or you might want to annotate a single PDF and then copy that into the note, and then move on to the next file. I personally like to gather all my annotations into a note and then move them back into Microsoft Word to create my final document. For example, here's one of the documents that I have worked on, and then I gathered my annotations and my thoughts and everything into a file right here. I'll open that into a separate window. Now you can see over here that I can use basic formatting in these notes, whether it's numbering, bold, italics, etc. All of these are available for you to use. Each of these annotations that you see here, they have their reference underneath them. So, for example, in my case, if I ever wanted to open up this particular file where this annotation is, I simply click on it and I click Show on Page, and it will open up that particular file down to the annotation itself and show me where exactly I took that from. And this is a very powerful feature that saves you a great deal of time from having to jump back and forth between different files. So currently I have this particular file open over here, and if I were to scroll down to another file here, this is from another file, click on this, click Show on Page, and this will open up that particular file down to the annotation. Let's continue using this file that I had where I had collected all my notes and thoughts together for a homework. Now that my note is ready, I want to transfer it into Microsoft Word and work from there to create my final draft. This brings us to the next powerful feature inside Zotero. I can open up Microsoft Word, go into the ribbon here for Zotero, which gets installed whenever you install Zotero, and I click on Insert Note. And this opens up a list of all the different notes that I have worked on previously. So I click on this one that I want to insert in, and when I click Enter, these notes are then exported into Microsoft Word with all the formatting without any problems at all. As you can see here on the left hand side, you can see the table of contents, and everything is inserted in without any issues. Even the screenshots that we had, they get inserted. You can delete them if you want. You can resize them if you need to read them. I can also delete these screenshots, which means that the only thing that is left is the footnote that you see here, which was there right at the bottom. Now these footnotes, these are currently formatted as in the Chicago Style Manual, and you don't need to touch them because they have automatically been entered in and formatted by Zotero. If you ever need to change the formatting style, you would go into Document Preferences, and then over here you can change what type you want, whether you need it in English or Arabic or footnotes or endnotes, and so on and so forth. All of these things are handled automatically by Zotero, and so you do not have to touch these citations at all. Every single place where you find the citations, they will automatically be formatted for you. There's no more need to manually edit them again. How exactly does this happen? Where are these citations coming from? They're coming because you went in and you had created these book items with all the information about the book's metadata inside it, and the first time that you had done this. And so therefore, because you have done this once, you never ever need to do this once again whenever you have to use the book. If for whatever reason you had to move some of these paragraphs around and the citation order changes or something in that changes, all you have to do is click the refresh button and it will make sure that all the citations are again updated to reflect those changes. Finally, you can also go down all the way to the end and you can add your bibliography. So for example, in my case here, I can simply have to click Add Edit Bibliography, and it will automatically, looking at all the citations that I have had up until now, the 50 odd citations that I have, it takes a look at those, pulls the metadata from Zotero, and puts that in over here. As you can see, some of these places you have volume 1 edited by is written in English, and that is because in my document preferences, I had selected my language as English. Were I to change this to Arabic, in that case, it will simply go in and it will edit all of these and automatically change them all into Arabic for you. To sum up, Zotero allows you to organize your PDFs by adding in the book metadata so that the next time that you have to work with these PDFs, all you need to do is to easily take the annotations to write down your thoughts and so on, and then copy those into a note where all the references are copied through. And then from that point onwards, you can copy the data into Microsoft Word and you can create your final draft. This eliminates the need for any kind of editing of citations, of the bibliography. All of that is automatically generated, unless you happen to be a technophobe or a Luddite who loves to edit the citations by yourself, by hand. There is no need to really do that anymore. Even if you decide that you don't want to use the note system inside Zotero, you'll still be able to use the citation mechanism. So as long as you have added in Zotero, the metadata into Zotero, then you should be able to go into your Word document, click Add Citation, and then you should be able to drag or find out whatever file it is that you have created and get its citation in here. So for example, in my case here, I can select any one of these books that I have already prepared and then add in the citation for that, and it will automatically generate that citation for me. A few advanced topics to wrap this up. As for the annotation using the drawing tool inside Zotero, I think it's not that ready yet. It's there, but it's a little crude. I sometimes have to take very small annotations, very small writings that I have to put, for example, the tashkil. In such cases, Zotero is not a good candidate. What I tend to do is that I will open up this PDF file in an external PDF viewer, and then I will annotate it over there. Once I have annotated that, those changes will be reflected in Zotero too, because they're sharing the same file. I'll give you an example here. This is my kashaf, part of the file over here, and as you can see that I have put some annotations in here. I could go into my Zotero library here, open in an external viewer, and it opens up inside Adobe. You can make any changes to this file here. I can annotate in here, and then once I have saved the file and I reload it inside my Zotero, you'll see those changes in here. So you can use them together. You can use Zotero and an external PDF editor together. Advanced feature number 2, creating a link to a specific page or annotation such that you can open the PDF from any external application, even if Zotero is closed. How do we do this? So Zotero allows you to capture the hyperlink for any annotation, and then using that hyperlink, you can start Zotero and open that PDF down to the page where that annotation is located. So for example, I will copy the hyperlink for one of these annotations here, which is currently on page number 235. Now, I will move this PDF away, and I have gone over to page number 1 in here, and I'm going to close away the Kashaf file, and I will shut down my Zotero. What I can do now is that particular hyperlink that I had copied, this is that. And so I can store this in any location. In my case, for example, these are my personal notes. And so I will be storing it in over here, and I can type it into my notes for Kashaf. I will hyperlink that in here. As you can see, I put that in here. And so now, when I click on this hyperlink, it will open up Zotero, open up the Kashaf file, and take me directly to that annotation where I have. Once again, it saves an immense amount of time when you are cross-referencing your notes and you want to put the PDF number or the annotation number into your notes that are outside of Zotero. You could also take that hyperlink and you can put that into a web browser and will do the exact same thing. So for example, I close down and I will have my web browser open, and in which case I could paste that hyperlink in here and it will do the exact same thing what you had just seen. Once again, it took me directly where that annotation is. Group libraries. Remember how I had mentioned that creating the book items with the metadata for every single PDF can be time consuming? This becomes especially problematic if you have a large number of PDFs, and also every single person has to do it for themselves again and again for every single PDF. So all of us are reinventing the wheel by doing this personally for our personal collections. There is a way around that, and that is by doing the work collaboratively using group libraries. So for example, I have already entered the metadata for many books. The ones that you see here are just a small piece, and then I have plenty of other books that I have already created the metadata for. Some of them I haven't, and there are others that I have. And I would prefer to simply share this information with you so that you can then start using it and not have to do this again. In short, the way this works is by using group libraries, where I would then drag and drop my books that I have into that library, and then anybody else who joins into that shared library will then be able to start using these books. All they will need to do, for example, in this case here, I have a group library that I created called Islamic Scholarship. I open that up and I see that I have all of these books that I have already put into that. Anybody who joins into this group library would then be able to simply take this book this way, drag and drop it into their own collection, and they can instantly start to use it and cite with it. All the metadata has been entered into it, what is important, and so they do not need to do that legwork again. If you would like to make use of this, or if you would like to contribute to the project, then head over to zotero.org, go to groups, search for groups, and in here type in Islamic Scholarship. And about the third result is going to be this one here. And as you can see, you can already see the titles in here. You cannot see the PDFs. You should be able to access the metadata itself. So if you would like to join it, you can just log in, or you first need to register, then log in, and then you can click join, and you will then be able to access the PDFs and the metadata and then you'll be able to simply drag and drop the files from here into your collection. Even if you don't wish to use Zotero or all the other features that I have mentioned, this particular library can still be of benefit for you. For example, what you can do is, if you were to click on this link here, it will take you to the online page for this library. You don't need to sign in for this. And what you can do is you can select any of these files here, and you can then export the citation for them online. For example, if I wanted to get the citation for this particular file, I click that and get it, or I could even get the bibliography references for these, and you can select all the files that you need, and it will generate these for you in this manner, and you can just copy to clipboard and you can use them.